Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I feel like it has been forever since I've done a vlog, but it hasn't even. I want to start off by saying I wasn't even going to do this vlog today because I was having one of those days where I like got up and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And then I look in the mirror and I have a great big zit everywhere, not just that one. I've got like pimples all over my face and I was like, I don't want to be in front of the camera today. But my dedication to you guys is #1, so I'm here on camera with all my zits and everything. Alright, so I did a question and answer vlog, and one of the questions was about how I stay so positive, because to be honest, when I think about it, I should be an emotional wreck right now. I feel society tells me I should probably be an emotional wreck right now. I had a miscarriage and then our IVF cycle after preparing for it and doing all the injections and all the ultrasounds and getting my hopes up and dreaming about it and thinking, oh, I might finally have another baby, and then it got cancelled. So two big blows happened really close together, and to be honest, you'd think that that would really knock your emotions around, and to be honest, it would if it weren't for my own coping strategies, I guess you could say. And the coping strategies that I've written down are actually what I go by. Like, I haven't just made them up so I can make a vlog. I haven't just gone and googled or anything like that. These, I sat down and I just thought about, what do I do that helps me get through infertility, helps me get through all the bad things that happen during infertility. And of course, some of these things won't work well for some people. It depends on your character, it depends on your state of mind, it just depends on if you're an introvert or an extrovert. It'll depend on lots of different things, but this is just what personally helps me get through the struggles of infertility, and I'm just going to give you my ideas, and if any of these help you, then that is choice. My #1 thing is tell a friend or a sister or an auntie or someone other than your partner that you can trust, because I think the #1 thing that helps me through my journey is the fact that everyone knows about it. I am not secret about my journey at all. Like, from day one, everyone knew. My parents knew, my aunties and uncles knew, my friends knew, YouTube knew. Well, you guys knew from IVF onwards, but that's because I didn't think about doing anything on YouTube. But yeah, even my boss knew, my co-workers knew, everybody knew, and it made me feel really good to know that I didn't have to try and keep secrets. It is extremely hard, especially at work, to try and keep infertility a secret, especially when you're going for blood tests, especially when you're going for ultrasounds. When you're going through IVF, you have to take time off for your embryo transfer, for egg collection. You even have to take a couple of days off because, oh my gosh, I took more than a week off my egg collection because I ended up getting OHSS and going to hospital. Can you imagine how I would have explained that to my boss if he didn't know I was doing IVF? It's extremely hard, and I understand there are some situations where you may not want to tell people, and that's okay, but at least choose one friend, someone you trust, because at the end of the day, when you bottle stuff in, it's never good. It's never good to keep things inside, bottled up. I learned that in my marriage very fast. So if you get things out there, you've got one person that you can trust who isn't just going to go, oh, I'll just relax and you'll get pregnant. Someone who will understand. Choose the person you tell tactfully, but I really recommend it. It really helps to have someone to cry on their shoulder, to have their support, to have someone to call and just say, my blood test went so bad, or, you know, I'm really terrified about this next injection. It just helps to have someone understand what you're going through. The next thing on my list is an extremely difficult one, and the first one on my list, telling a friend, was extremely easy for me. I had not a problem with it. The next one can be quite difficult, and that is finding positives in your journey. Especially when you're having miscarriages and cycles are getting cancelled and things aren't working, and month after month after month you're getting your period. It's hard to find positives, but I think it really does help. So in my journey, I find the positives to be that I started a YouTube channel and I love it. I love you guys. And I have a Facebook page that has like all my infertile trying to conceive friends in it. And I get to talk about my experiences to strangers. You know what? I use my infertility as an icebreaker every time. My hairdresser, just like, yeah, doing IVF, you know, my baby was an IVF at birthday parties. Oh yeah, my son's an IVF baby. You will not believe the number of times I've said to someone he's an IVF baby and they have said, so is mine. It is unbelievable how many times that has happened. So it's always good to open up to people. But you've got to find positives. You cannot go through your entire journey going, man, this sucks, that sucks, life sucks. Because it's a bad attitude. You've got to have a good attitude. And if you have a good attitude, you're going to find positives in your journey. I love my journey. If I didn't go through IVF, I wouldn't have this beautiful photo of Roman as an embryo, a 5-day-old embryo. Like, normally most people, their first vision or sight of their baby is through an ultrasound at like 12 weeks. I got to see it way before that. I got an ultrasound at 7 weeks, but even before that, I saw my baby before it was even in me, and that I think is super cool. This is a really big one. So this probably won't go for same-sex couples at all, but for those of you who are man-woman relationships, you have to understand, ladies especially, you have to understand men cope differently to women. I found that out really fast and early in my infertility journey. Martin just, he doesn't cry. Like, I'll say to him, I got my period, and I'll be like bawling my eyes out, and he'll be like, oh man, that really sucks. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Do you not care? where is your emotion? But all this time now, I have just, well, not just realized, but I realized that men are different to women. They react differently to women. Most of the time, it's not every man, but most of the time they're pretty inward with their emotions. They don't like to cry, especially not in front of you. Most of the time they're just trying to, they feel really bad, but they want to be strong for you. They don't want you to feel like they're upset because they're trying to keep you strong. They're trying to be the strong one in the relationship. They're probably not going to go over to their mate's house and say, bro, my sperm count really sucked, you know, whereas women are more likely to go and say, look, I've got PCOS, I got my period and I'm not pregnant this month, it's really sucks, cry on someone's shoulder, which is good, it's what women do, but men, they just don't do that. And you may think that they're being selfish and that they don't care, but they do. They just show it in different ways. They'll be coping in a completely different way to us. And you've just got to let them do it. Next thing, and Martin and I have taken it to the extreme this year, is that don't become a hermit. Enjoy life, you know. When you think about your entire life, if you get to 90 years old and you look back on your journey, your whole life journey, infertility is this much of your life. Well, I hope you only make it this much of your life. If you're still pursuing fertility treatments at 70, 80, 90, there's something wrong with you. Seriously. Anyone who wants to stay up all night with a baby at 70 is just nuts. Your body won't take it. So if you look at your whole life, infertility is this much out of this much of your entire life. Don't waste this much by being a hermit and being sad and staying inside because you don't want to see people. You don't want to face pregnant people. I know it's hard. It really is. Trust me, I know. But you can't put your life on hold. You can't miss out on the beautiful sunny days because of infertility. You've got to get out there and enjoy life. You don't know how long your journey is going to last for. It could be 1 year. It could be 10 years. You don't know. Why would you want to spend 10 years of your life becoming a hermit, being too scared to go outside, being too scared to go to baby showers, to be too scared to go see your new niece or nephew be born? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it in the long run. You need to get out there and enjoy life, no matter what. Another way I cope with infertility is to research my options. I always like to have an ABC backup plan. So Although IVF didn't work out for us the second time around, it was cancelled, I always knew that there are other options. There is still Paragon, there is still Clomid. I've never done an IUI, so that's still a possibility. Trying like the Fertility perhaps, try that again, although it didn't work the first time really, but yeah, research some options. Don't go Dr. Googling. It's really bad. I do that and it's really bad, so my advice is don't do that, but research your options for treatments. So just because one thing may not work, have a backup plan in your mind so you know it's not over yet. There is something else we can try, and that always makes me feel happy because I'm like, you know what, it's not over, we'll try something else. Martin and I have done that this year, and that is plan some time away. Infertility really gets you down. It can make you feel really upset, makes you feel really angry at life. So planning some time away, even if you're in your own country, you don't have to go overseas like Martin and I did. But after our recent IVF cancellation, we just planned a holiday. Like as soon as our cycle was cancelled, we were both having a really bad time, and we're like, you know, this really sucks. And Martin was like, right, let's go visit our friends in Australia. I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, yep, let's go in 2 weeks time. And that's what we did. And you know what, it made us so excited. We were so excited to go see our friends. It was fun packing and planning on things that we could do, and we had a great time, and it made us feel so happy. Do what makes you happy. Plan something, plan a trip away, even if it's in your own country, even if it's just in the next town. Do something that is going to make you excited. Another way I cope is setting my limits. You've got to set your limits mentally, physically, and financially. Mentally, I know I can cope with a lot, so that's great. Physically, I know my body can cope with a lot. I mean, the number of things that I've been through in this infertility journey and I've bounced back is great. For us, we have to set limits financially. Like, to get a baby, I know I will do anything, so we have to set a financial limit really somewhere to make sure that we don't just put ourselves into humongous debt to get this baby. So I don't know whether you would want to write it down or whether you just want to take a mental note, but you've got to set some limits, otherwise you might just go crazy trying to get this baby. Big thing. Stay positive, but be realistic. I'm always a very positive person, and I don't want people to think that I'm fake because of that. I am positive because I truly am a positive person. I'm not pretending, I'm not putting on a show. I just prefer to be happy, and I know at the end of the day, I'm either gonna have a baby or I'm not. You know, those are my options. You know, there's no point getting sad about it. I've just got to take it as it comes, but I've got to be positive. But then I'm also realistic. Like, I'm not going to be this huge positive person and think everything's going to be super awesome, everything is going to go exactly to plan, everything's going to go well, everything's going to go perfect. You know, I'm positive, but I'm realistic. I know things can go wrong. I know things can go wrong, trust me. But it just, in the back of my mind, it's always good to know that I'm realistic about things, and that's also why I set up my backup plan, so that links into my other tip about having backup plans. Next tip is take it day by day. I find this tip extremely hard sometimes, but I try. Taking it day by day is really important. Like, I find that often I'm looking way into the future and I'm going, well, we can do this and this and this and this and this. This cycle we're doing this and this, and worst thing possible is when you do get pregnant looking way into the future, I always figure out my due date, which is fine, but then I always look at, oh, I'm going to be this many weeks pregnant when this happens, and I'm going to be this many weeks pregnant when this happens, and then I miscarried, and I thought, I'm not going to be pregnant in Fiji anymore, and I was so disappointed. And that's why I've learned to not look too far ahead into the future and to take each cycle day by day. Get through this day, especially if you're having a bad day. Get through this day before you start thinking about what can happen the next day. Especially if things aren't going to plan, because it can just become really overwhelming. So get through today, look after yourself, and deal with tomorrow. Big thing that I always do is indulge with a big fat negative. No one ever likes to see a negative pregnancy test when you're trying to conceive, especially when you've spent lots of money on IVF or other treatments. So I always find I like to indulge with a big fat negative because it just makes me feel better. Go get an ice cream, go for a walk in the park with Roman, go on YouTube and watch a bunch of funny cats or something. I don't know, but indulge. Go and have that huge bowl of ice cream you want. Even if you're on a diet, just do it. Do whatever makes you feel better, because it really sucks and it really hurts. So if it makes you feel better, do it. One of my biggest, and my last tip, my biggest coping strategy, and the one I live by, is giving myself time to grieve and then moving on. If I didn't give myself time to grieve, sorry, my phone's going off. I'm sorry, I'm talking about something really serious, and then my husband sends me a photo saying, does my bum look big in these? Oh my goodness. It's my husband trying on some head saying, does my bum look big in these? I love him to pieces. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay, no honey, your butt does not look big in those. Anyway, we're trying to talk about something very serious here. Okay, so giving yourself time to grieve. If I did not give myself time to grieve, I would be sad every day. I'd just be like, oh my gosh, I had a miscarriage. You know, I think I would be about 18 weeks now, and if I didn't have that grieving time, I'd be like, oh, I've been 18 weeks today. And I'm not making fun of anyone. I am not making fun of anyone, but I'm just saying, if I didn't set myself a time limit of grieving, I would just keep grieving. And it's not to say that I'm still not sad about it, and in 2 years time I won't think back about the baby that could have been. That's fine. I think that's completely healthy. But if it's affecting your life, then you're still grieving in a really serious way, and you probably need to see someone and get some professional help. So I set myself a time limit to grieve. It just means that most of the time I cry for like maybe a day, and then I get over it, to be honest. I don't like to be sad for more than one day because I have a life. I have a child and a husband, and I need to get on with life. So normally, just naturally, I grieve for a day and I'm done. But I would normally set myself a limit of maybe 2-3 days, depending on what the situation is. With my miscarriage, I grieved for maybe 2-3 days. With our cancelled cycle, I grieved for maybe 1 day, and then I was just like, oh well, let's try again sometime when we get some more money. Yeah, but I think it's healthy to grieve. It definitely is, as long as it's not taking over your life and stopping you from doing day-to-day activities. Yeah, so once I've set my time limit of grieving, I move on, you know. And if I feel like it's getting worse, then, which it never has for me personally, I've just grieved and got on with it, which is great. But I know for some people it's not that easy, and if it's not, maybe professional help would benefit you, you know. To be honest, it's each to your own. Not all these things will work for you, but they definitely work for me, and it's how I stay so positive, because at the end of the day, I know there's two options. I'm going to have a baby or I'm not going to have a baby. There's just lots of little things along the way as how it's going to get to that stage, what I'm going to do about it, and I just like to have a positive attitude, and I like to get over things quickly. It helps life move on, and it helps me to be a better wife and a better mother, and hopefully a better friend. And yeah, I just really enjoy life, and I think it's great to be positive. And I just want everyone to understand too that grieving is okay. It is understandable and it's healthy. But yeah, definitely get a friend, definitely indulge yourself. You know, these journeys are never easy, but try and find the positives in them. If you have any tips you would like to share with my subscribers, put them in the comments box below, and I might make another little list. But yeah, so that's my tips. I hope they've helped someone out there. Yeah, alright you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!